the weekly trader show. This is Adil Rajabali, and I'm here to make finance sense. Today we're going to talk about the coffee industry. I actually have chose two particular companies, and the reason I'm going to tell you why is Starbucks and Green Mountain Coffee. That's the companies I chose. And the reason I chose these companies is because they always say on Market Watch, or they always say on the news, whenever something bad happens to Starbucks or something bad happens to Green Mountain, they always compare two of them to each other. I thought, yeah, they both are coffee brewing industries. They both should be compared to each other. But that's technically not it, because both of them, I just looked over their filings a couple of days ago, and I made some churning numbers, and one of their business strategies is actually different from another, and that sets them a little bit apart. Yes, they're kind of in the same industry, but it sets their path a little bit apart. So I'll go over that in this video. But let me talk about Green Mountain Coffee Roaster first. They were began in 1981 in Vermont. They're known for their famous K-cups and their K-machines. Their machines are called Keurig or Keurig, I believe, or some sort of that. But I'll call it K-machines to save you a lot of time. These K-cups are basically flavors of any coffee. Let's just say Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts. They have like 20-25 of these flavored cups. And what do? You open the K-machine, you put it in there, you close the spools and just start, and it makes your own coffee. Another interesting thing I like about the K-machine is that you can time it, so you can actually put an alarm. You can put your K-cup in there. You can wake up in the morning and your coffee's going to be already made. That's very, very cool, especially for a guy like me that's a coffee lover. You'll ask yourself that, okay, these K-cups, all right, they have Starbucks flavor, they have Dunkin' Donuts flavor. Isn't that stealing, or aren't they supposed to ask permission? Yeah, you're right. And these permissions are through contracts. So Green Mountain actually takes these contracts to Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts, and these are 5 to 10 year contracts, and they sell it to them. So basically, Starbucks is actually selling their temporary Frappuccino flavor or macchiato flavor for a lot of money, I'm pretty sure. And this really helps Green Mountain to actually put in like, hey, we can have the same flavor of Starbucks coffee for half the price. Their K-cups and their K-machines are actually occupies 84% of their revenue. $1.7 billion are from K-cups, $524 million are from K-machines, and their $422.2 million are from other accessories. Their business strategy is to market out the K-cups, basically. Their K-cups and their K-machines. The reason they're really focusing on that, of course, is 84% of their revenue. So might as well just focus on what you're good at. They are also working on single serve espresso cup. It's about to come out, I believe, the end of 2012. I'm not sure, but this will satisfy the espresso lovers that want espressos in the morning and in the snack. So what is so special about K-cups? Like I said, they have all types of flavors that you can just put into this little machine. And it's very compact. You can fit it anywhere in your kitchen if you want. And you can just start whatever coffee you want. I find this really interesting because, to be honest, I mean, I've never heard of a machine like that ever before. So it's pretty interesting about what these K-machines can do. But one downfall to that is the K-machines are very expensive. I talked to several customers that actually have the K-machines at their house, and they tell me that it's very expensive. But those K-cups are actually pretty cheap than buying coffee. So if you're thinking about owning a machine like K-cups, the K-machines, and sticking to it for 2-3 years, it's actually going to work out for you. Another letdown is that I was reading their 10K filings, and then I saw this across. I read that many of our current or potential competitors have substantially great financial, marketing, and operating resources and access to capital than we do. This is correct. They have limited resources, and that really limits their growth comparing to Starbucks, which has exponential growth. If I were them, I'll actually try to look for more resources to actually expand out, because if one of these resources decide to, hey, I don't want to give my coffee to you anymore, I want to give mine to Starbucks, it will really hurt them because their supply is very low, So they need to really work on that. And also their roasting methods are not proprietary, which means that other companies can steal their ideas reuse them without getting sued. Like K cups and K machines. Let's just say Starbucks makes their own brand of K machines and K cups, then that's really gonna hurt Green Mountain Coffee. Starbucks was actually founded at the same time, around the same time Green Mountain was found. Well, I would say 2-3 years before Green Mountain was found, and it was found by 3 teachers. One was an English teacher, Jerry Baldwin. One was a history teacher, Zeb Sagel, and actually one was a writer named Corin Boker. These 3 were actually, they had an idea of actually starting the coffee shop from a guy named Pete, and he had his own coffee shop as well. Later on, they actually sold their company to Howard Schultz, and Howard Schultz is the current CEO of Starbucks right now. And afterwards, when Howard Schultz got onto the chair, we just saw exponential growth in the next 2-3 decades to come. The past 2 decades, the Starbucks coffee shops their growth was exponential. During the 90s, every day a new Starbucks shop will open around the U.S. Business strategy. Their business strategy is to expand globally and to expand to Southern Asia, from India to all those southern places. And that's pretty cool because they already have 4,776 stores, with 2,334 outside of U.S. But their biggest country so far is Japan, with 934 stores. That's very interesting to see how they're going to do with a population around, I believe, 3 billion. I'm sorry if I'm incorrect, but if they have that kind of exposure, especially with India, that a country that most of the times wants to be like America in most cases, then it's really going to help them. The letdown on Starbucks is that their coffee making equipment revenue is only 2%. They're only 2% of their coffee making, where Green Mountain is actually 84%. That's basically saying that Starbucks has a Hercules and that Green Mountain can take advantage of, and that can really limit their growth in some way, as long as they can increase some new ideas about coffee making equipment. Green Mountain dominates that side by 84%, obviously, contributed by their K cups and K machines. Starbucks is very sensitive to customer buy index. Like, take the example of the crisis of 2008. When a lot of people lost their jobs, went into foreclosure, they didn't have that much money. And if you don't have that much money, the first thing you worry about is, okay, how can I get my kids food, or how can I make the ends meet? The last thing on the mind is buying a Starbucks coffee, I'm pretty sure. So since the customer buy index went down, Starbucks stocks went down also, since their revenue was very poor. And that shows a very sensitive company towards the market, very volatile company if anything goes wrong with the customer buy index. This happens with very, very large companies that are very known retailers, especially with the coffee industry, where coffee is like an inch, and this can hurt the company a lot. But if the economy is doing well, Starbucks is going to do well too, and that's a known fact, since customer buy index will increase if the economy is going well, if the GDP is going well too. Comparison with Green Mountain officially is Green Mountain actually sees their competitors as Dunkin' Donuts. They also have Peet's Coffee and Tea, Starbucks, Tassel Teas, and Seattle Best Coffees. If these are 5 competitors that they actually see them, but Starbucks actually owns 4 of these competitors. They own Peet's Coffee and Tea, like we went over earlier. They own Starbucks, of course. They own themselves. They own Tassel's Tea, that actually focuses on tea, and they actually own Seattle's Best Coffee themselves. One thing I actually like about Seattle's Best Coffee is actually a franchise, where Starbucks is not a franchise, but Seattle's Best Coffee is, and that helps a lot of business owners like you and other people that want to own a coffee shop that has a brand name. They can get Seattle's Best Coffee, which is pretty known and has the same quality as Starbucks. And this can really hurt Green Mountain because Starbucks has such a stranglehold on them from each side, because each company focuses on one particular aspect of their goodwill. So that's another reason why, that's another comparison. Starbucks has all these goodwills that produce a large amount of revenues. Green Mountain is actually less risky comparing to the volatility of Starbucks, like we went over with the customer buy index. Green Mountain actually does not go through that. Reason being, K-cups are really cheap. Of course, machines can be very expensive, but K-cups themselves are pretty cheap, and they're not that exposed. I mean, they're not expanded as globally as Starbucks. And Green Mountain actually trades at $20 per share, where Starbucks trades at $50 per share. So you can see the prices range too. I found something really odd is that Green Mountain's cash flow is actually 3 times bigger than Starbucks' cash flow, but Starbucks has a higher ROA ROE comparing to Green Mountain. This is not actually bad, but it's very odd that this shows that Starbucks is actually getting more from their assets comparing to Green Mountain getting more from their assets. We're probably going to see some changes in that if the key machines are actually expanded, maybe internationally. You can see probably a difference in the ROA, ROE. Their financial ratios. ROA for Starbucks is 0.17. Green Mountain Coffee is 0.06. ROE for Starbucks is 0.28. Green Mountain Coffee is 0.11. So you can see the Starbucks has higher ROA and ROE comparing to Green Mountain Coffee. Now, price earning ratio. Starbucks has 30.23 as comparing to Green Mountain Coffee that only has $11.86. Like I said, Starbucks has a higher volatility. That's why their price to earnings is higher. But if you're looking for something lower volatility that has less risk, 11.86 sounds really nice right now. Forward earnings. They see Starbucks to hit $32.07 in the end of this year, and Green Mountain is headed to go $9.90. I find this implausible because I mean they're a really good company. They're not going to go down to $9.90. They're just the experts' predictions. Market value per share for Starbucks is $26.19. Green Mountain Coffee is it's 23.70 cents. The book value per share is $2.89. As for Green Mountain Coffee is 0.01. Now I went back and recalculated this 2-3 times, and I was still getting 0.01. It was really bugging me because both of their 10K filings were actually in a different format. It's actually calculated each of them in a different way. So I might have calculated that wrong, but that just goes to show that financial ratios, you can't not always trust them. You have to go with outside factors as well. The enterprise value for Starbucks is $41 billion, as comparing to Green Mountain Coffee is $1.2 trillion. Like I said, they have a lot of assets, but they're not having as much returns. If they can push out more return on their assets, then we can see a huge boost on their stock index. In my conclusion, if you're looking for a company that focuses on expanding their product with less risk in the market, then go for Green Mountain Coffee. But if you're looking for a company that's business strategy is to expand globally, and on top of that, they're pretty volatile, then I'll go for Starbucks. And thank you for watching the Weekly Trader Show. See you next time.